Welcome out, gamers and gameheads, to this RGL.GG Invite Season 17 Highlander cast, where we are watching Run It Back take on Witness Gaming. Both teams coming into their Week 4 matchup on PL Swiftwater 3-0. Likely looking at the top 1 and 2 seeds coming into playoffs right now, and the winner gonna likely end up with that first seed moving into playoffs. I am Alto, joined by Zag to my side, Dolphin behind the camera as always. Zag, how you doing tonight?
Doing good. Ready for one of, if not the most important match to determine first seed overall. It's a big honor to get that first seed. Not only do you get the easy route through playoffs, but you also have upper seeding for map picks. So being able to get that, it gives you a big boost coming into playoffs. And both these teams undefeated, like we've said. There's inherent bias towards the defending champions, as always. But honestly, this match could technically go either way, because we've seen around that apparently these teams are fairly evenly matched on a map like Swiftwater.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and quote, Jacob, longtime invite winner. Both these teams suck on Swiftwater. His words, not mine. So should be in for an interesting match if both of these two teams are meeting on one of their weaker maps. We may see. It's interesting, right? Because you have to imagine that these two teams still will play at a high level, but the degree of execution may not be there. So some things that, may be a little bit crazy may end up working because, the team they're doing it into just not put together enough to stop it. And Swiftwater's a map where you never know what you're going to see going into it. Almost every point other than the first hold is holdable. We even saw Team Fun last season start to try to hold first on, maybe not like a hard hold, but somewhat of a soft hold. Seconds usually held pretty hard. Sometimes you might see a tunnel hold come out. Sometimes it's going to be app. Sometimes you get both. Third, maybe it's snowballed. Maybe it's hard held in, the bunker. Fourth, maybe you're forward. Maybe you're back. Maybe you're snowballed. Last, same thing.
Yeah, Swiftwater, tons of variants on this map. It's one of my favorite payload maps, one of my favorite maps in rotation as a result, and really excited to see what these two teams can bring. If it is the case that they are quote-unquote bad at Swiftwater, right, it still lends itself to an interesting game just because of that variance. But with that said, we can go ahead and run down the rosters on the side of Run It Back. It's going to be Birdo on Scout, Mako on Soldier, Leaf on Pyro, Mori on Demoman, Chalk on Heavy, Gigi on Engineer, Foxy on Medic, Poseidon on Sniper, and Jay-Z on Spy.
Over on the side of Witness Gaming, it will be Pablo on Scout, Blank on Soldier, Melon on Pyro, Exile Demoman, Fluoris on Heavy, Hyphen Engineer, Blake on Medic, Lenny on Sniper, and Evil will be ringing Spy.
Ooh, Evil back in the saddle on Spy. Yeah. That's interesting. Before the new generation of Spies come in, Evil was kind of the last, top tier Spy, obviously besides Jacob, who plays whatever, comes on Spy, plays Spy whenever, right? It was Evil just being the last Spy from the UGC days, who was at the top level back then. I remember playing a lot of games against him, but the execution is going to be the most important thing in this match, looking at down these rosters. And again, Witness Gaming on paper inherently just favorites, but it really feels like this one could go either way. Again, Swiftwater, super high variance map. Execution is going to be super important. And honestly, I'm looking at a couple players, a couple classes to be big. Obviously, Sniper is going to be the Highlander sniper that everyone knows. If the sniper can just end up taking over the game, the lower barrier of execution that we are maybe predicting might just become, well, we can't push past Lenny or Poseidon.
Yeah, having missed their first cast, and I've heard a lot about Witness Gaming not being as good as they were last season. When I look at this roster, it's pretty hard to, fully buy into that, especially with Lenny on Sniper. I mean, I look at these rosters, I see pretty big flank advantage in favor of Witness Gaming. Pretty big pick class advantage as well, assuming Evil is not terribly rusted. I'm very interested in how the combos perform here, because Exile Demo Fluoris Heavy is not a... they don't have any they don't have that much synergy together.
not the Highlander power pair you're used to hearing.
Yeah, now Exile obviously no stranger to high invite. Fluoris Heavy, a little bit of the new one, but when I look at Rib, Mori is the player that I'm always looking to have a big impact. Saw him have some really huge moments against Scortier last week on Proot. Chalk as well. Maybe Proot wasn't his best map, but he was making a lot of space. Swiftwater, much more of a heavy map. I'm going to really be looking for them to kind of pull together, pull a bit of a lead there, and then you just have to hope that Poseidon and Jay-Easy can at least neutralize Lenny and Evil, and I think there's a shot, because Swiftwater is a map where the individual caliber of your player does not entirely matter when you're getting snowballed through 3 points in 3 minutes.
Yeah, what's going to be interesting to see is we've been hyping up the execution, talking about how like the team that can come out and just play better, make their plays, is going to have a big advantage. But honestly, Swiftwater, like we've said time and time again, you can do anything on this map. It feels like any small point outside of first is like at least holdable to some degree. Big plays can be made almost anywhere. So I'm interested to see what teams decide to do on those big plays or how they think they're going to set themselves up. Where we've seen things like tunnel holds, we've seen like split pushes outside of apartments and side tunnel. There's just a ton of things these teams can do. And we're going to get into the round so far. We run it back starting out on defense, Witness Gaming on offense.
Yep, and again, I mean, last year, what was last year, actually?
Yeah, it was.
We did see a bit of, more of a forward hold, not the old defense hold that we saw back in, way back in the olden days, but a lot of people kind of playing a little bit more out of tunnel, Blake included, supporting the heavy, playing in the shed, just really trying to harass the card pushers. And, they kept their sniper alive and really just kind of, milked a lot of time. So, interested to see if we see anything like that. If I'm Rib, I don't do that. If I'm Rib, I'm not buying into these rumors that Witness Gaming is washed or anything. I'm treating them as if they're at full strength.
Yeah, treat them as if you're fighting the defending champions. That's the best way to at least come out on as good footing as you can. Gates are going to drop, and we're going to see a big forward hold actually from the defensive run it back here. They got their heavy in the house, likely to be sacrificed here. So we're going to jump up top to try and force Mako down, and Mako will get taken down. Will get traded for Flores in the end, but Chalk dead as well to the cross map. Poseidon winning the first SBS of the round, and now Exile trying to jump up to take some space, but for now roof is clear.
Yeah, Blank! Oh my, that was so fast, and Foxy's
just
gonna ride that back. Yeah, Blank already in another zip code at this point, ready to come back again. That was so fast coming into tunnel.
Yep, ×3 on the card, rounding that bend on that straightaway towards the first capture.
Evil just running in with the gun, gonna find Poseidon. That could be a really big pick. Blank, excuse me, again, coming in afterwards to help cover him out. Evil does eventually go down, though. Mori picks that kill up. Mori
run it back our AD in the tunnel. Yeah, are they going to stay here? Or are they trying to go apartments? It does look like they're just going to play outside a tunnel.
They know the demo heavy were in tunnel. No immediate rush to go back into upper, I think, is where they were kind of saying it. Do they have... Yeah, Jay-Easy is calling everything. So Jay-Easy's probably calling no one is in upper. No need to rush back up there.
Yeah. Now that the offense going upper, we are going to see the rotation come up from run it back. They're moving into that permanent spot. Immediate Uber through. It's a solo onto the scout. Pyro gets there in time to split the scout from the medic. So it is Pablo all alone inside here. He's going to do dip and dodge, but he will go down in the end. Evil as well, unsuccessful on his play. GG's the only death for the defense, though. That means that Engineer, the sentry gun, is under threat, but a good push up on the front lines. Going to take down Lenny with that bleed, and the gun stays alive.
Alright, the important thing to watch right now is Blake's Uber versus Foxy's. Blake ended with about 10% ad as a result of Foxy popping later. Foxy actually doing a good job to keep it even, but it's very possible that Blue pulls ahead here, as Red is just not going to be taking as much damage, unless, Exile keeps feeding these stickies in, get that damage in, and Foxy actually pulling ahead of Blake, really fast building, slow on the side of Blake.
Conqueror pop from Mako here, opting for that healing and movement speed banner instead of the typical battalions that we see. And it will be him just popping it immediately. But look at this dive coming out from upper! It's Flores out of the window! RKO onto Foxy and Poseidon. Someone's got to watch that door for that heavy, and they just don't. And they're going to lose their combo.
Yeah, I think Chalk was up there, but just wasn't actually watching the door. So Flores just able to jump out the window, Eagle Heavy, flies in, finds the combo, and that's the thing you gotta watch out for when you have your med playing in that corner, is that Foxy basically couldn't move because they were picked by stickies. Then the heavy comes in, and that's gonna be it.
Evil getting 2 cleanup kills in front of that doorway with that Enforcer, that damage bonus coming in helpful, and with that, they're gonna be spawn camping Witness Gaming a little here. Yeah, they got Blank in the upper, they got players forward, and yeah, third has to be seated by run it back immediately. Full Uber advantage for Blake, and they get 2 points in a row. This is looking great for Witness.
Yep, 3 points anytime you are less than a minute per point. You are very happy about that. Coming into third, Lenny moving into the house, going to get some wide angles coming in. Exile trying to make his way up that slope, going to surf forward a little bit.
Uber comes in. Evil can't get onto the med, but Uber is in. For now, they're going to try and get damage over this ramp. No one going down quite yet. Shock going to soak a lot of damage and stay alive for now. Elder Heavy going to have to back up. Blue Walrus gets around the corner, but Witness Gaming still have Lenny posted up in the backline. Hits Poseidon for another SBS win. Blank in the backlines, but there's Lenny again taking down Leaf. Tons of kills rolling in now. J-Easy, GG, all gonna die. The sentry gun will go down in short order because Blank is still in behind here. Gonna try to jump, does get taken out by Birdo. It is enough players alive here and a full Uber for Foxy. Right back are gonna stabilize. Look at the scout running out, and there's Birdo taking down Blank.
Yeah, actually, maybe that Uber a little bit too aggro. I don't think Witness Gaming knew how far back everyone on Rib was. The gun not even being in the standard spot on ramp, but all the way back out by the forward spawn. Exile not able to take it, jumped up, and got launched back into yard. So combo already split there. Gives Rib enough time, and now they're finally getting a hold set up. That said, they're looking to try to get a forward hold, but Blue Walrus peeking.
Evil's on the med, Evil's on the med! He finds Foxy on the back out!
Uber does not matter. Demo Heavy get taken out by Blue Walrus, and the med drops after the fact. And that is going to be fourth, likely gift wrap with a bow from Rib over to Witness Gaming. Probably going to be more than 4 minutes here, but not by much.
Yeah, Run It Back just got so aggressive in that choke. Typically, when you have that space, you're willing to hold close, but they just were dropping players, taking so much damage, and then Evil, perfect timing on that back out, gets the free drop, gives Blake another 50% add to work with, and that's 4 points in 4.5 minutes for Witness, blazing through this map.
And Poseidon, though, gonna take out Lenny, gives them a little bit of more room to kind of play around, not have to worry about sightlines for a little bit, but Cart kind of in a transitory spot right now, not too much aggression coming in, and Lenny already gonna be spawned right back up. J-Easy caught out as well, so no comms on the offense. Pipes getting spammed in through that window, gonna get the gun low, but not take it out. Evil, though, with the Enforcer, finds it from the ramp.
I love
coming
it.
up, and no gun.
Yep. Oh, but look at that shot. Poseidon gets the drop onto Blake as he's walking into the lobby, just shooting through that one window in the center. And that's going to open up the gates here for Run It Back to take some space. They get kills onto Exile, Lenny, Pablo. A lot of damage coming through. It's only going to be the Soldier and Spy dropping expendable classes. And that's a really great play by Run It Back here to get some, to save some face.
Yeah, I mean, just... You know, you got the med drop, you did everything you need to, just got to keep your combo alive right now.
Well, 2 Redick drops so far in the game.
Yeah, I was going to say, is that what both teams being bad at the map looks like? Because it's pretty exciting so far.
Yeah, still, it's going to be an advantageous spot for Witness Gaming here with this time lead they built up. They can wait for their Uber to charge back up. Poseidon getting back in it, taking down Pablo with that body shot. They got Chalk playing out over here. He's not actually playing on the traffic cone. That out of light. Now he is. He's going to move over to it. In the meantime, Birdo going to lose that fight to Blank over on the side. Blank has complete control. He's going to jump up top, behind onto Mori. Good reflect from the Pyro, going to save his life. Look at Shock up on top. They're going to sack onto Kurt right now. Witness Gaming put everyone on it. Pablo's on it. Someone's got to get on it. There we go. Good sticky by Mori there.
Got the stab onto Blake right here. So this is going to continue to be a full ad, but with the cart so close, you have to imagine Foxy's got to be popping this on a hair trigger. And Evil
they're going to drop down.
Up. Ooh, got the Spicicle melted! They caught him! Leaf, huge flare in order to stop him from coming in. He's not going to go down, but he will get forced back. Loses his cloak, loses his knife. May give them some time for this cart to roll back.
Oh, they got to kill Chalk though. Chalk goes down here. They're just going to sack onto the cart. Chalk with the fist gets to the other side. Can he get an arrow from his medic? The answer for now is no. He's just dipping.
Evil?
Look at Evil. Evil's on the cart. Pyros to air blast. Evil nearly gets it in. Oh, he's still alive. Evil gets arrowed. That was so close, man, to pop for it.
That, I honestly thought that was going to go in despite them having the Uber. They will use him. Blake caught out. Mori finds a med pick there, but a couple of overextensions.
If you sneeze on that thing, it'll go in.
Oh,
it is so close to
Where
the edge.
Evil? He's coming in.
Mori's dead. No stickies is huge. Evil going to go up to it. If that scout double jumps, it's over. Oh, Heavy gets on just in time. Gets punched Chalk with the fist. Take down that spy. Evil's job from here on out is to respawn and sack on that card to keep it there.
I'm J-Easy. I want this tally.
Yeah, the telly's huge.
You have to get the tallies that Evil can't consistently reset card.
Yeah, if you run it back, you need this thing to move back. You need that cart to run it back.
Look, it's still 10 seconds. Evil's right back in.
Yeah, he's just gonna sack on it again. He's looking for an angle where he can get the cap over, but as long as it doesn't move back. Wait, the Heavy's dead!
Never mind.
The Heavy gives to Exile sticky bombs, and then Evil hits that decloak. That sneeze comes through, and there's the cap. Less than 8 minutes. I mean, it's a bit slower than what they could have had with how good the first 4 went, but still a pretty good time.
Yeah, I mean, 4.5 through 4, they got, you know, 3+ on last alone, which is pretty decent, but Yeah, they just they really let the cart get too far up there. I mean, it is so difficult to make the cart. They even got the cart to roll back once, but once it gets back up there, you know, you gotta get the telly down so that Evil can't just keep respawning and running in on it. I mean, he gets the cap there, but even if he doesn't, that cap was getting, you know, that cart was getting tapped in sooner rather than later. And 7:48, not impossible, but if I'm Rib, I would have liked another minute or so.
Yeah, it's definitely a Witness favored time, but not out of their own possibility for an effect like you're saying. And honestly, during that last ending sequence, we saw that Running Back kept getting medic picks. They found Blake multiple times in a row, but it really just doesn't matter if that card is that close. You can not have an Uber for the rest of the game and still have a good shot at just punching that thing in. Obviously, the sooner the better, but yeah, Run It Back just let it get too far, and it was their doom in the end. So now, Gates about to drop on Run It Back's offense. We'll see if they can make that sub 8-minute time happen.
I'm going to call out that in the setup time, both teams are offering increasing rewards to shoot through the spawn glass to get the match overturned. I like the mind games. Leaf offering 50 keys to Blank to effectively get the match forfeited in their favor.
I would draw a match for 50 keys. I'm not even ashamed to say it.
For first seed, really? And yeah, look, here's the forward hold. Look at Blake holding out of the tunnel right now. He's by the roof. You've got the scout on it. Flu Walrus holding in the house. They are confident to, you know, have Blake just kind of rotating in and out here. Birdo gonna get stabbed. GG dead. Evil got caught out, so no spy comms. Chalk has cart up quite a decent amount. Will finally get piped off it. And they have Blank over here knowing that there's no sniper, so that Blake is not in any immediate danger. Mako taken out quite quickly. And Poseidon trying to go for an angle here, maybe onto the mouth of the tunnel. Blake, though, is going to hear it, and he backs up.
Jay-Z's knife got melted. He got caught out, not able to find anything.
There's your forward hold. More than a minute off at first.
Yep. And that's going to be a really good start to the round for Witness Gaming. You're able to just back up, play it like normal from here. And now they only have 6.5 minutes left on this defense. So things are looking real good in the Witness camp. We got Lenny perched up on this wooden bridge right here, looking into tunnel. Sentry gun building up for Hyphen. Onus is on Run It Back right now to make a play and get themselves into this map. They have to get second in 1 or 2 Ubers, you have to imagine. Otherwise, this round is going to get out of hand really quickly. And it looks like they're keeping all of their forces into tunnel.
Yeah, not even going to bother going into upper. I like it. Although some sticks, 2 sticks right above tunnel. They got dead. Anyway, have to imagine Eva's going to come through here. Ubering in through upper just doesn't end up getting too... Mori, super aggressive here. Going to get a nice pop-up onto Exile. Knocks him down and alley-oops him into Poseidon. That is the demo dead. Gun from Hyphen dead as well. Chalk and Jay-Z going to get caught out in upper. But there is Mako taking out Flores on head. Pablo dead as well. Yep, Uber exchange in tunnel. Exile goes down, but the numbers are in favor of Witness Gaming right now. We'll have to see how those spawns come up.
They don't have key damage classes up. Exile just spawned. They're trying to get their scout on the leash, but Melon gonna get headshot. It's just the soldier here. Exile will jump up, but a banner popping out from Blank here. This could be exactly what Witness need to take some space back. They're gonna get back into apartments. They have their sniper on the high ground. They're unable to be headshot right now thanks to that banner, and they are going to hold for now. They've maintained their position on the high ground.
Yeah, just despite getting the Exile pick, they were trying to have a collapse coming through upper, but just, you know, ended up going 1 for 3. And here they come in again. They go in chalk. They get Blue Horse. Lenny dead next. They were not ready for that.
The collapse is so sick.
Yep, there it is. They're all walking out of tunnel. Exile's gonna go down. Chalk still in, still alive.
We got the
tag. It's Blank and Blank. Keep the heavy from Chalk. Gets the taunt off. You deserve it, champ. That is going to be second in the favor of Rib. Wow.
Both teams winning second off of their heavies making the play. Obviously, with the new meta of the heavies diving from upper, that it does allow for that, but it's just great to see the heavy players of all getting their flowers on the second pushes. It is going to be Running Back getting the successful snowball onto third. They cap both points up, 4.5 minutes left to get through the last 2. All of a sudden, this round got extremely doable.
And they're almost on pace with where Team Fun was. Team Fun, Witness Gaming, I'm sorry. As Blank kind of comes in, gets the force off, I think. Foxy might have just been a little bit scared of everything flying in. But that is going to be the Uber popped out. Blake only on 50, though. Blank now getting headshot down, so no soldier to jump around here. Mako taken out in exchange. Both soldiers dead. Spam going to be exchanged, but they're getting good card time as they try to get it up past the slope here and further into yard.
Yeah, you gotta look for the sniper here. Where is that sniper? Not available. Lenny taken down. Poseidon winning the SBS and Shock. 2 more kills. Thoros and Evil getting taken down on that cart. Sap in from J-Easy. Bomb from Mako. Perfect synergy there. One shots that sentry gun. Uber comes out by Blake.
Oh, great air blast by Leaf there to pop him up. Blank though, finding 2 on the back end, but Foxy just content to play wide in yard.
Exile needs a headshot and then gets killed by a sticky bomb. So now we see Mako uncontested, or Mori uncontested. Gonna try and walk over onto this rock. Lenny back up, hits 2 headshots. Gonna deter this push for now, but how long can they hold? The answer is much longer once Evil gets that stab onto Leaf.
And Pablo coming around the back, killed Foxy with 99. Oh, that is painful. You get that off. Maybe they're still in, but not quite from Foxy. The headshots onto cart were so important to keep them from getting it up the hill. Blank coming in, and then we have a decoy from Evil who took out the pyro
Crazy
there.
Jump stab, air blasted back, doesn't find it. In the meantime,
Lenny
Lenny...
find Exile again!
Yeah, Lenny won an SBS in the meantime, though, so he's going to be standing tall. 2 more kills just run in for Lenny. Gets takedowns on Leaf and to Gigi, dominating that Engineer. We know those are the most important kills, but that said, he's going to be posted up on Rock and Lenny. A force to be reckoned with here. Blake going to come up on Uber.
Yep, now they have it. Foxy still on 60. Have to make sure you don't start dying here. 2.5 minutes. This round went from great spot to dicey quite quickly. Evil on top of the fence. Drops up someone. Poseidon winning that early so big. They're going to lose Chalk. The Pablo dead as well. Players in favor. And Poseidon finds the drop onto Blake. Blake going to go down after. It is Foxy's game and getting routed
second
here.
To Foxy. Foxy lives with less than 50 HP, getting back there full Uber charge now because that medic was not able to be taken down. Witness Gaming, they lost everything there.
Mako getting in super early here as well on top of the little playground. Gonna go down. Blank coming in, counter jumps that.
Exile's one. Can Jason get it? He burned him! And that's a huge pick. No defensive domain. This Uber now only has a pyro standing in its way. Run it back and go lower, and they're going to Uber immediately up this ramp. Soldier in their way, taken out instantly. Blank is dead. They will get a shutdown of Poseidon. Look at the cart! Look at the cart! It's almost in! They can't get there! Witness has defense! Witness has 8 alive! Defense. Wait, Witness has 8 alive! I get the shiny, but what else are you doing?
Empty net goal! Empty net goal!
They're 8 alive!
8 alive with a gun. They are so fixated on the Uber, no one drops down and run it back, come out, and just ride that, just surf that cart in. It did not stop from the 4th cap right into last, and they are suddenly halfway to taking down Witness Gaming, potentially setting themselves up as the 1st seed.
You got to sing Poseidon's praises there on that 4th point, because after losing 2 SVSs in a row, he comes right back. I watched him on the previous life. He literally got spawn camped by Lenny. Doesn't matter. Comes right back out, wins the SVS in house, drops the medic. That's the game-winning play right there. And yeah,
absolutely.
Witness made a really, I say, obvious blunder at the end there by not getting onto that cart with 8 alive. But the momentum was against them. Even if they do get on the cart there, it's 5 shiny players all being flashed by Foxy. The likelihood that they actually turn that, probably less than half, right?
Yeah, we saw 3 drops at a 99%er.
Yeah, nearly 4 drops in that one round. So I guess that's what being bad at Swiftwater qualifies as. But honestly, really exciting first round. Logs up on your screen right now. Lenny and Poseidon both top fragging. I mentioned snipers can take over the game, but
yeah, it feels like it's hard to pull anything. It looks like you've multiple classes looking like they're just in different games. I mean, like Birdo, 14, 10, and 3 with sub 200 DPM.
That's actually really hard to do.
That's a crazy stat line.
14 and 3 with less than 200 DPM. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Well, hyphen 2 and 3, 92 DPM. Couple double digits on the side of Witness Gaming in the DPM numbers. Leaf barely escaping the shame,
the public shaming.
I mean, I don't wanna, kick a dead horse Zag, but Exile was kind of in exile mode that game. It felt like.
Yeah, Mori definitely had much more game impact.
And to clear that up, if longtime viewers may be aware of what we mean by exile mode, but this is where you as a demo man are just consistently finding ways to die, almost first in a lot of cases. There have been a ton of fights where Exile drops down from second, gets popped up, gets headshot. Dropped from spam on 4th, gets butter knifed on last. Some of them his fault. Some of them entirely his team's fault. Does not matter. Almost any time there's an important fight breaking out, it feels like Exile has been dead.
Yeah, and it's reflected in his DPM a little bit. Sub 400 is not what you want to see out of your demo man. I'd say obviously circumstance is more important in the grand scheme of talking points, but for now, a couple things I want to look at. Right now, we see Foxy having Blake's deaths.
Yeah, Blake really felt like you see Blake pull these from time to time. You know, just sometimes he is unkillable, you know, on top of everything, and sometimes just maybe the system needs a little bit of calibration, it feels like. Peeking sightlines a little bit too often. I think a lot of those deaths were to sniper.
Let's see, that would be Poseidon, 2
to sniper.
I'm looking at SVS, it's 5-5, both snipers evenly matched, and both doing tons of work, honestly, nearing their top of their teams. Chalk actually ties Poseidon in frags, which we did see him have that massive moment on second. One other thing I want to look at is heal spread here. Fluoris is top healing Witness Gaming by a lot. He has 6,000 heals compared to 4,600 for Exile.
How much of that, though, is a fact of just Exile dying at such inopportune times? He's not alive to have heals sunk into him, whereas Mori is.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing you got to look at with how these teams perform. We did, you know, that's what the eye test said, is Exile is dead, Mori is putting out damage. So we have to see if Witness Gaming can kind of adjust and try and keep their players alive more. Exile maybe rein it in a bit, see if he can stay alive and kind of match Mori's output here, because Witness Gaming had their chances to win that. Obviously, the big disaster on 4th was the breaking point. But they do have some players playing well. Again, notably, Lenny is in the server in big force right now. We also saw... Who was it? We saw Blank doing a decent amount of work with those bombs with his banners. So they have a framework to work with. Fluoris as well. Like, we sung Chalk's praises, but remember, Fluoris did the same thing in the first half of that round. So Witness Gaming's have to put it together a little bit more, because right now they're down 0-1.
Admittedly, this was the map that they ended up permabanning out through the back half of playoffs. So Witness, you know, not new them being rough on Swiftwater, but I am admittedly surprised that that match ended, that half ended the way it did, with just absolutely no card, even an attempt wasn't even made when they were 8 alive.
Yeah, that definitely speaks to just a lack of experience on the map, because in Highlander, when you play these maps for so long, you have like an inherent timer in your head of what you need to do and when. The second that cart hits like that point of no return, you gotta just know to sack on it. And 8 alive, no one thinks to. Yeah, that's an inexperience or a not fresh on the map moment. So.
They had numbers too. Like they were winning that Uber exchange. Despite the Uber coming in, they had gotten a couple kills trailing into it. Very few people were. I think the one person dead was Blank, who was trying to body block the Uber and got caught in the hallway.
And Exile was a respawn. Exile was a respawn is the thing, so like he didn't have stickies existing on the cart. But like someone should just jump on it and buy time for Exile to put stickies on it, you know?
Which admittedly, I mean, I don't think him getting butter knifed in the middle of 8 players is his fault, but just another kind of, you know, dot on that data line that like Exile has to stop dying.
And as gates have dropped, we're into the second half here. Witness starting out on defense, seeing if they can right the wrongs of last half. They get the first 2 kills of that round, take down GG and Mako. Kirk's still getting ×3 though by the Scout and Heavy duo on run it back here, so no time lost on that end. And there's Poseidon, big early SVS win coming forward for his team. Jeezy going for a decloak, look at Fluoris with the fist. Just gonna take him down, it's pretty funny. But Roof is now property of run it back. Look at Leaf.
Oh, big job!
That's funny.
Oh, that was a great little air strafe into the tunnel, directly into his
air strafe into Gib combo. The most
difficult one. Unlucky. Oh, look at Mako. Mako is locked in on this. Nope, never mind. Couldn't jump off. Thought he was going to try to rush upper, but there were stickies waiting for him anyway.
Dude, what happened to the man-tread soldier Uber through upper? Remember that?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. It's still good. Mako on the treads? No, those are gumbos. What I think is that maybe as more teams are like trying to focus towards tunnel more, something you had last time.
No, Pablo was trying to take down Mori in the side tunnel. Mori was dipping and dodging in the corner. He didn't want to peek the sticky bombs. He just bought time for Jay-Z to come stab him. That was really
there's
funny.
Exile dropping down with the rest of the combo. Lenny now on the ground as well, looking into
they're
the
gonna
tunnel.
meet Uber head on.
Chalk and Mako finding their way in through upper, gonna jump in. And that's Mako dead. Chalk gonna go down as well. Flores takes care of both, and then that Uber is gonna get nothing.
Yep, good denial from the heavy of Witness Gaming. Thor was doing a good job just keeping those players out of upper. And, you know, as long as those players don't get to dive bomb your combo when the Uber's ending, you can hold this just fine.
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, Chalk not really dive bombing last time. He slowly walked his way down the stairs and just killed 5 people as he did it. But, yeah, caught out this time, as they were definitely, you know, that's something you can say, all right, let's not let that happen again, and it's pretty easy to really get that through. That said, deciding going to lose the SBS, Mori trying to find something in main, but Chalk in upper finds
Evil's in. Evil gets a stab onto Gigi. Tons of damage coming in. Look at Blank getting the rocket kill onto Mori, and Melon reflecting onto Mako. So really solid defensive effort there by Witness Gaming.
I really want to pinpoint what happened there, because right as that happened, right as that started, Lenny won the SBS onto Poseidon. So even though Chalk and Mako got the heavy kill in upper, the fact that there was no sniper meant that everyone in upper just kited out onto the bridge, and Poseidon being dead means there's no punishment for that. Really just like heads up kind of play there to recognize that, oh, well, their heavy just killed our heavy, well, we can just kite him out across the bridge. And now Mori's going to be the one getting sniped. He will get the gun out, however, but that's going to be rebuilt and he trades his life for it, so maybe not the best overall as both spies go down.
Yeah, both spies unsuccessful for now. We're going to see Witness Gaming post up here once again with this full Uber charge. Plan from upper, their combo is sitting up here. Sentry Gun going to have to get rebuilt, is coming in from Hyphen very soon. Now pressure is on, run it back here, and they're going to again Uber out through the tunnel. Birdo just dead immediately, not going to be able to take any space with this Uber. To solo onto Mori. Mori jumping in behind, sacrifices himself with the Sentry Gun, second life in a row. You got to imagine that that's not going to really give them too much dividends in the end.
Yeah, because when you walk through like that, oh, Chalk though has found some room in upper. They're
big banner from Blank.
Here
Huge banner.
Gonna find Flu and Lenny before going down, but yeah, big banner from Blank. Gonna help keep the rest of them alive. Mako gonna go down on that as well. Lots of players in tunnel right now. Birdo moving into side tunnel. Poseidon finds the shot onto Hyphen, so that means no more gun. Once the level 1 above side tunnel goes down, Mori takes it out. And this may be the second cap coming through. It's just Blank trapped in upper.
Yeah, Witness keen to leave here. Blank gonna try and jump out. He does get out of dodge for now into the other side of apartments. Cap comes through, sub 4 minutes, but decent start for Witness Gaming. That's the best second hold we've seen from either team so far in the match. So we'll see if they can try to run, keep going onto third. They don't have a snowball angle quite yet though, but they are gonna have Uber about 15% faster, and they're gonna go immediately.
Yep. Good building and good heads-up awareness. Lenny and Exile going to go down. Evil finds Chalk on the backline, but I doubt it is going to matter. Evil gets a second onto Poseidon again.
Are they going to go? They're out. They want to go.
Yeah, they're coming back in on this. Great jump in from Melon to air blast them off cart. Leaf going to try to get it in and will be taken down in the process. Mako, though, just walking in. Lular's going to get taken out on cart. Pablo's going to find Foxy, but ignores the cap in favor of it. So bits of some interesting economics there, trading your medic for the cap.
I mean, honestly, that third is one of the biggest momentum caps where it does give those forward spawns, allows you to start pressuring fourth. So when Blake just uses Uber, I don't hate that. I think that's a win in the end for Run It Back. They get the snowball. That's like a half snowball play that you're willing to just trade about a 30% ad for. Evil and Blank getting some entry kills. Blank doubling up.
By Blank right there to take out Jay-Easy and then jumps back into Mako. Not sure if that counts as an air shot. Didn't see if that was a direct shot or went off the roof, but good game sense either way. And some forward pressure coming up here. I've seen some teams maybe theorize this, where you have the gun a little bit more forward. You know, the one thing here is you need to get a little bit maybe more control into the garage. You'd like to have your soldier in there, but GG is patrolling it. However, in the meantime, here is how you counter that. The sack's coming in, gonna get the force. Lots of players hit up low, no one going down. Great flashes from Blake there to keep everyone alive. But that is the Uber gone, and now Foxy is up on full. So once this big spawn wave comes through, you know, gonna have to see how long this forward hold is gonna last.
Really important that Blake flashes everyone there, because if you drop players and you lose control of space, you just give Foxy a free walk up to get the best Uber possible. But now that they have all 9 up,
cross, doesn't take his fists out, gonna go down early.
They gotta
Uber
be scared.
Popped out now, that's done, likely gonna go down. No, Mori jumping up, ignores the gun, they finally kill it, Poseidon takes it out. He's gonna try to get some stickies in, but really doesn't find anything. Maybe he's gonna take out the gun a second time, and Lenny finds the shot onto Foxy. It is Dominoes, one after another, falling for Witness Gaming, right? Or Run It Back. Dominoes are falling. Witness Gaming is profiting, as that Uber really doesn't get too much.
Yeah, they feel pressured to go because they have ad, but that's a full ad, right? You can do so many things with the timing there. Poseidon tries to walk out here. Really great bomb by Blank, but he can't hit the last rocket. He's gonna... Oh, he does at least get that sniper, so he gets what he was asking for. Blake gets a clean up onto GG. That's pretty funny crossing out with the crossbow, but for now we will see run it back, just try and get some kills. There's a big entry by Jay-Z, taking out Exile with a backstab, and now Mori has an uncontested walk-up. He's gonna rain down hell onto these players, but looking at Lenny, he's doing so much damage. Take down the heavy. Uber is out from the defense here, and they get herded back into their spawn.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you need at the moment is to puff that Uber, get your space back, buy time for Exile to spawn back up. Lenny consistently finding picks, going to be the one taking out GG this time. Not the med, but Fox is going to be coming up on ad again, and they just got to do something a little bit better with it.
Blank spot. He's just standing up on high ground. Surely that someone looks for this.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no one's going to look for this. The second that he sees Fox, he's going to go. Uber popped immediately.
Anyway.
Tries to jump back. Will actually get out for now, so that's interesting. Will get into this pack, so he's alive. And well, in the meantime, Evil in the house going to be looking to get some damage done. Will Blank jumps back and kills Mako too. Lenny, 5th kill in a row this life, takes down the SVS, but Mori hits some good stickies and taking him down. And Chalk winning the heavy on that head glitch means that finally the run it back combo has space to work with. They're going to look to get players up here, but look at Evil. He's on the prowl. If he could find any pick, it'd be huge. Mistimes it, can't get anyone.
They're going to take the gun down again. Mori gets that with the lock and load. Evil dead as well, and that's going to really probably sound the back off. Maybe not, though, as Blake coming up on Uber. They are going to use that Chalk. Finds himself bad place, bad time. Foxy, however, kites back towards spawn. Will stay alive, and this leapfrog continues.
Look at Blank. Blank just wins a fight on the side against 2. Takes down Mori and Gigi. That one's massive for helping them retake space. And now Witness Gaming get to walk back out to continue their third hold. They've been looking fantastic here. Foxy with Uber. This time for sure. Run it back have to get this one.
Surely. As they use right through the choke again. Melon gonna go down. Mako the drop right off the bat. Pablo dead again, but Mori jumping forward. Gonna try to get some damage in. The gun's still alive, as is Lenny, though. I feel like Mori might have had a little bit of better targeting. Exile, however, sniped out. Poseidon gonna be contributing yet again to the 4th push, and I think that's actually going to be the back out this time. But 8:48 through 4, significantly slower than what we've seen, and they haven't even gotten.
Look at this, they're bombing over the top, trying to get some damage, trying to get some kills. They will get the kill onto Hyphen, but you know, Engineer, it's a decent enough pick on defense, but you need more if you want to actually get the snowball. Jay-Z with the spawn camp, Blake, very good awareness, turns around, not going to get stabbed off that one.
Ooh, they got them really unsettled with that, though. Engineer pick was really big too. It's going to stall the gun getting set up. That said, it looks like they're going to be able to stabilize. The cart gets about to where you can normally push it for free. The pit had been opened. It made it past the switch box. So they've at least got that going for them. You know, I was hoping you might be able to see a full snowball, but both beds coming up on Uber. Gonna have to see something soon.
Yep, for run it back, you have to get to someone as soon as possible. They're going to Uber from the side room, try to get out and get some damage done. Counter is out from Witness Gaming here. Blake flashing as many players that need it. A lot of damage coming through from the defense here. Fluorus gets the kill onto Leaf. Mori taken down as well. The one silver lining is the SVS win, but it's not going to be enough. Look at Chalk. He has to back out from underneath to go get this pack. He's all alone, but will stay alive for now. In the meantime, Fluor is just standing tall above this cart, and run it back don't get too much ground, but there's Chalk getting a kill into Exile.
Yep, and I mean, you have to hope that that's not going to bite them this time, but Exile still has been finding a lot of that. Foxy finds a kill onto Blank, so that's both explosive classes down. Plenty, though, going to take out Mori on tracks. This might just be a sack to get some more card time. Leaf getting some decent distance on it, not quite yet in the danger zone, I think. Yes, she did.
She typed O. That's very funny.
Ragdoll sitting right on the left side of it.
Yeah, and with the numbers advantage, Witness Gaming going to do what a good Highlander team does, push out, get some space, make that offense retake it. Bomb in over the top from Mako is going to command that space back, so good on that. But Foxy's dead, Evil in the spawn, gets the walkout backstab onto Foxy and Chalk. That's going to signal his team to push back out and get these kills.
Jay-Z had sacked in on card too. It wasn't that quite close to running back, but I think they should just better reset the timer. And look at this forward 4th hold. Look at Lenny looking into the spawn door. Is going to get whipped out. Like, give that man the magic carpet ride out, but they can't even walk into a point they've already capped. They're holding back because they know that sightline's looking right at them. It's deja vu. Mako beefs his bomb.
Yeah, Blank is standing so tall here, doing so much damage. Gets out to the pack as well. Pablo not going to be so lucky. Will end up going down. Blank Poe going out. That is an impressive escape.
He's alive.
Oh no, he's dead. Last sticky. That would have been really impressive. I guarantee he was close to banner, and if he could get that one, that would be huge. But it will be just a return to the last hold. They got a lot of pushback time on the cart when this game, and the cart's even still rolling back. Leaf gonna get that touch, stop its negative progress, and reset for his team. In the meantime, Foxy 80%, Blake on 90, so defense has everything they need. Jay-Z with that Enforcer easily takes down the gun in the meantime.
Yeah, I mean, that went almost back to the switch box, which is really all the ground that they've gained over these Ubers so far. It's going to be Poseidon and Mako both getting cut out. Birdo gets some good ground on him, you know, maybe halfway towards the pit. Chalk going to try to get some kills. Will be enough for Pablo and Blank to go down, but they're just, you know, you trade enough bodies for the kills, you can't have anyone go in to push the card in, so these frags really not amounting to anything at the moment, as both meds just sitting on full Uber.
Yeah, the one caveat is that they got the cart into the danger zone. We hear that beeping going on, that the caution beeps, signaling it's close to the end. If you are run it back here, you gotta get some ground, you gotta get onto that cart and try to push it. They have this Uber,
Poseidon
and they've been sitting on it.
Shooting the sticky traps one at a time.
Yeah, that's not the most effective gun to deal with the stickies on, but you know, if you can buy a spy some time to cloak on that cart and get it a little bit further, you're willing to do so. In the meantime, this Uber has been waiting for so long. Jay-Z does find a stab and sap onto the gun, so that's at least decent opening, but Melon's so annoying. I hate you with that homewrecker. It will get taken down in the end, though, by the lock and load, as the Ubers are in.
Yep, Melon getting popped up, almost launched into the pit. Foxy kiting out through the tracks. Mori staying in, gonna get taken out, but Chalk on the cart right now. Gonna win. The answer to the heavy? No, he didn't. I think he's still alive. Lots of frags coming in on both sides. But it's going to be Witness Gaming still holding on right here. Cart not quite, you know, angled down into the pit yet. So they still have a little bit of breathing room. And you have to imagine we're looking at 12 minutes maybe by now.
Yeah, Fluorus has been doing such a good job standing on this traffic light, shredding anyone who walks in. Been staying alive the entire time too. Poseidon back up, looking for picks, finds Pablo, which is a decent one, but you need more than that. Mori gonna go down as well, so no offense gonna be able to get those sticky bomb spams in. Mako doing some damage, Jay-Z into the Sabotaleni, and there's Birdo onto the cart, Chalk following suit, Melon gets an air blast onto that heavy, stays alive for now, Melon 1 HP, gonna surf around, keep her life, Rocket not gonna take her down either, so cart moves to that very edge, but no, Melon!
Poseidon! No, Poseidon, she got launched back.
Yeah, I meant like,
Poseidon, she tried to jump on top of it, and Poseidon gonna find Blake as well, was nursing a 13 kill streak. That's going to be a lot dead on the side of Witness Gaming. Some numbers coming in, but the Uber's going to be
nobody alive.
Jay-Z going to just ride that in.
14.
Not ideal.
So we're tied at 1-1. Not officially.
A hard hold on second is always possible.
That's true. Run it back, yeah. If you run it back and you just push 14, you go for the all-in on second or something. You can't imagine that 14 is going to be the easy defense.
Milk a minute on first, get the tunnel hold up, back up to second, hope that's enough to get your 7 or 8 minutes in, and you just end it here.
Yeah, one thing that we haven't seen from either team is the ability to consistently react to the apartments push on second. We've seen both rounds so far. Every second capture has come off of a heavy soldier coming through upper and winning their fight. So I want to see actually the teams kind of delegate more resources to that defense, especially run it back here. You know that if you lose that apartments hold, your chances of the game probably go out with it. So allocate more resources. Be willing to actually commit hard to these fights because they are in a deep hole here.
Yeah, 14 minutes, not any time you ever want to be seeing on a stopwatch that you have to push. But yeah, as you said, you know, I think it's really going to have to be about that because you can't have... Not only that, but at least when Rib has been winning the upper, Chalk's been killing Fluorus. Fluorus got the med kill without the heavies even seeing each other. Chalk was still alive in that first round.
In the meantime, Gates have dropped onto this Witness Gaming offense. Tons of time to get this one through, as long as they don't get hard help. But you gotta imagine they're tying this one up at 1 apiece. A lot of damage down onto these players, and they're gonna get the kills onto Chalk, Mako, and Birdo. Forward hold has to be no more after that. You didn't get your minute, that's fine. Just back up and do your best.
Yeah, I mean, are they gonna go for the tunnel hold? It doesn't look like it.
Nah, they're out. They lost too many players. Exile, a one-man army on the front lines here. Doesn't get shot, man. Just stay alive. Look at the soldier out, Blank, all alone. Hello. He's dead.
Little aggro, but I respect
Team, where are you?
Oh, look at Evil. Evil deep undercover. Evil! Oh, the Foxy! Oh, right in the corner! Oh.
Has the Spycicle 2 if one flame from Leaf touched him, he doesn't get that stab? Oh, and that you gotta imagine that one's the end. There's no chance for a hard hold that second now unless the witness game Uber is atrocious.
J-Eazy, the man of the hour, has to get an 8.
He's nowhere near. He's nowhere near. Helps to get the kill into Flu Walrus, but that's not the medic. That's not Blake.
He's getting caught out on first. Everyone's out. They're trying to get something, and he gets caught up in the crossfire.
Yep, Sentry Gun being wrangled, but it gets replaced. That one's going to make it immediately get taken down. And the combo just running through upper, and they have to pot their Uber. I mean, you kind of appreciate the attempt from Run It Back there. You're not going to win by just, like, playing normally, so they try to get aggressive and, you know, get that Uber force, maybe get some cheesy kills that put things in your favor, but it's just not happening. And you got to imagine that's their white flag on this round.
Essentially, yeah. I mean, at this point, you know, I don't know, maybe hope they get 4 points and you know, shrink down the amount of time that you have left, and then pray a miracle happens on last. That or just like
look at Exile.
The third half.
Farming the kills right now is Exile on this Shutter, with the Uber gets 3 for himself as his third point capped up pretty much instantly.
Yeah, this is looking a little bit more like the witness game we're used to.
Yeah, unlimited momentum here, trying to run forward. Foxy does have an Uber, Lenny is dead, so this should be at least Run It Back winning a fight for the first time in the round. Poseidon is standing up here, getting some headshots. I hear him ringing out. Look at Mako trying to make some space on this cheating. Mori gonna walk out, and they're gonna Uber in. They want to kill Blake here. Blake dipping and dodging. Good serve out the choke, and they can't even get him. Jay-Z looking for it, but not able to get that medic before he resups.
A med kill's a med kill, even in a roll, Zag.
That is true. Makes your logs look good. For now, we will see Run It Back with that temporary advantage, try and hold this choke, get a bit far forward. It didn't work out for him too well in the first round, but Poseidon does get that crack shot onto Exile, so...
Ooh, Mako on the fence, just 2 rockets. Lenny jumps out to safety, and... a pause?
90 seconds in the future.
11 minutes through for 2, and we have a pause.
It has to be a crash. There's no way we tacked in the middle of this. Come on, guys. As we'll update you once our resident dolphin tells us what the issue is. But there's no way you tack with 11 minutes left on your defense. Yeah, it's a timeout from GG, so need to get that engineer player back in the server. For those of you who don't know, GG plays constantly on 160 ping, so... I feel like of all the players in the past season that I've casted, it's always GG having the connection issues the most.
I mean, transcontinental gaming, so... is to be expected, a friend from South America there. And I mean, granted, if at this point, like, you're probably just using this extra time, especially if you're ribbed, to just strategize for the next half. Like...
It's so hard... TF2 isn't like Counter-Strike where you can take a Glock round, for those of you who understand what I'm talking about, where like you don't take a timeout, but for one round where you're on a save, you just literally sit and spawn and do nothing and talk. In TF2, you still have to keep playing the game, right? I guess you could just AFK 9 people and spawn, but are you really going to do that? Oh my god, the dolphin cam is up.
Oh, I don't think I have my stream up. Oh boy.
Yeah, those of you can see in the bottom right corner, that is our new dolphin cam.
Oh, yeah, that is the setup. That's how Dolphin is always able to see the frags. Is that he's just
stay moist at the same time, yeah.
Staying hydrated is really important. If you notice, Dolphin is also fucking ripped, by the way. That looks like something... Is that a 6-pack? An 8-pack? Somewhere? I mean, that's a little... I'm not used to seeing those so close to the neck area, if I'm being honest, but... Yeah, I mean... Dolphin...
It's all the head pivoting from looking at his 5 monitors across the top.
Swims in the hottest swimming pools and catches all the hottest frags. You wouldn't talk shit to him at land. He's jacked.
I love the headset cord dipping into the pool before coming back out.
Wait, I don't think it does. I think that's the shadow dipping into the pool. The keyboard wires are definitely in the water, though.
I mean, you gotta imagine that they're waterproof anyway, because he does have his flippers kind of hitting the keys. So
what game is that?
I mean, it's whatever the AI thinks of an esport looks like. So it's probably some amalgamation of League of Legends, Dota 2, and like, I don't know,
Counter-Strike with a little bit of Rocket League thrown in. Yeah, no, things are dire for, we're laughing. Rib shouldn't be laughing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at the same time, you bought yourself a bit of a safety cushion with that round 1 win, but it feels like you're going to be going into round 3 with the momentum completely against you. We mentioned, like, TF2 not being a game where you can just sit in spawn for, like, a minute on your round, on your Glock round, and just talk. They got to play this 11 minutes out, and they got to sit here and take it, you know? They can keep trying to push, do their best to kind of stay warm in the server, maybe see if they can find a consistent way to break these fourth holds, but the impending doom is just there.
I mean, admittedly, you say they can't take a Glock run. I think it'll take longer to ready up for the third half, so... Yeah, the time is there, but it's still a difficult conversation because, like, realistically speaking, I think the reason they won that round was because Witness was not locked in. Blake was maybe not trolling, but he was not playing like it was Grand Finals. And a lot of Witness, they just stopped playing so sloppy. Once, you know, they stopped letting the heavy just completely roll through the mid-upper. You know, they stopped letting, you know, Blake running into sight lines. And if you're on Rip, it's a lot harder because it's not like they, you know, it's not like you were beating them and then they, you know, countered you. It's like they were kind of playing like ass, and then they tightened up. So it's like, how do we beat them when they're playing serious? It's a question many teams have struggled with against Witness Gaming over the past few seasons.
Yeah, Lenny going to win the SVS, buys his team the free walkout. Evil as well, getting that stab onto Mori is going to just open the floodgates here. They got Lenny over in the house, being protected by Melon. You got to imagine anyone who peeks the sideline is going to be eating a 150, if not a 450 in a second, so they will try and get some damage down. Uber popped out here by Foxy to try to get some space, buy time for the Demo Man to come back in, but it does nothing. They get no space, basically, as the Witness Gaming offense keeps rolling through. Mako gets the kill to Lenny, but trades his life for it.
Jeez, you gotta find a stab onto Flu too, so they may be holding this if they can get another kill or two. That said, Pablo finding the kill onto Chalk to make him lose a lot of ground. Mori very far forward, great pipes onto Blake and Melon, trying to back up. That will be a med down for Mori. As we said, still counts all the same.
Alright, so 9 minutes still left. Uber advantage again for Foxy. Do we start talking about it? Is it too soon?
I was about to say, well, there's still at 8.5 minutes, and I realized that my HUD, I never reloaded my HUD from the
I did. There's still 9 minutes left in the game, and it's a very far bridge for run it back. If there was any position where you theoretically could make a 9-minute comeback, it would be this one. They're gonna pop Uber, and they're gonna get Blake on the bomb. That's a really good single out by Mako there. Use that flash to get in deep and get that pick. So, you know, like I said, it's not favorable, but if there was a position that you could hold 9 minutes on Swiftwater, it's this one. They're on constant Uber advantage. Cart isn't even to the last ramp yet. So, I mean, they're cooking a bit, you know.
I think that I would take so much psychic if I admitted that Witness Gaming was going to bungle 11 minutes through 2 points, I would take so much psychic damage I'd die instantly. If I'm Rib right now, I just want to get some ground back, right? Like, you know, I don't even think you're realistically trying to win this. Just get some time, find your footing against this, you know, now sweating Witness Gaming, so when you go into the third half, you're not doing it on the backs of a hard roll. You know, get them to, you know, you push 14, make them at least push 8, right?
Well, I mean, you could also drop your Uber to a blank bomb in a crater.
Unlucky.
Yeah, so speaking of momentum, stage Witness Gaming, Lenny just rails off 2 more headshots as well for, you know, to add insult to injury. Mori and GG get taken down. No sentry gun building, no sticky bombs, no nothing. Evil spawn camping, Lenny killing Leaf. Yeah, this is not looking good for running back. You gotta imagine that this is the 1-1 coming in right here.
Oh yeah, the Uber's out. No one's even near Cart right now.
Yeah,
Birdo is in long trying to get it. Nope, that's gonna be the cap coming in. Probably
7 minutes still on the clock, so that's a 7-minute push.
Far.
Yeah, 7-minute push. Fastest offense so far, on the back of the best defense so far. So, yeah, dominant round from Witness there. Again, that's more the defending champions form that you expect to see from Highlander. So, yeah, I'd say momentum definitely on their side, and it's hard to bet against them after you just saw that.
Yeah, and I mean, here's the thing, though, right, is that we were coming into this with saying, like, oh, who's going to be, you know, whoever wins this is probably the first seed. I would say that even if Witness win this next half, Rib has probably guaranteed themselves 2 seed.
Yeah, with the match
which
point.
Is no small feat there. I mean, you know, coming into this, I think a lot of people thought Scortier were going to be the 2nd seed, if not the season favorites. you know, Scortier now fighting for their first win of all things. I mean, I think they'll get it tonight, but they are 0-3 coming into this. Rib, if they can get themselves second seed, they give themselves, you know, the best realistic road I think they can have throughout playoffs, assuming they don't beat Witness, which it looks like it would be a very tall order right now.
Yeah, logs up on your screen. We mentioned Exile step up, 24-8, 500 DPM. That's the top performing Exile that we know he can have. So definitely dominant there, able to kind of get into the game and get Witness gaming that win. Pablo as well, 25 kills, 250 DPM. So looked at Birdo's stat line and said, I'll double that DPM, while also being a top frag threat on my team. So. And yeah, like, you can look at the logs all you want. The reality is, we just saw essentially a defending champion take on a team trying to be like a top invite team for the first time, like competing at the top level, like, you know, top 2, top 3 for the first time.
Yeah, a bit of a, I don't want to call it a courtesy, but I don't. It did not feel like Witness were playing seriously, and that loss definitely shook something up with them. Pablo putting in chat, I had to warm up.
Yeah, you gotta imagine after they lose that first round, 8 people alive, no one on the card, they'll just collectively sat up in their chairs.
All right, you know, not gonna happen again.
Yeah, playtime's over.
You know, yeah, you know that image of the fucking, you know, guy just sitting up in the chair.
yeah. With a controller in his hands.
Yeah, leaning more towards the screen, like, all right, main monitor, you know. This is no longer a fun match. This is a sweat match.
It's the first seed match. If you're gonna sweat, it's after going down 1 round, you know, to your only competition for that first seed. So, yeah, Witness Gaming coming in, trying to get work done now. It also technically doesn't matter if you drop a round in this one, because this is the first seed match, you know, assuming you don't drop rounds to any lesser teams after that. So, if Witness Gaming finish the 2-1, it really is no harm, no foul.
Yeah, the rounds really only come into play unless one team gets, like, an excess of close matches, or you have some kind of, you know, rock, paper, scissors type, where there's not a clear hierarchy of wins. You know, if 1 beats 2, 2 beats 3, 3 beats 4, 4 beats 5 type of thing, and you have, like, a 1 and 2 beat everyone else, and then 3, 4, and 5 all beat each other. Which, still entirely possible. You know, we've got some important matches coming up on Steel in Week 7 that really could flip things.
Yeah, it's going to be great to see those when they come along. We're still in the air about which matches is going to be on the cast there. But for now, zeroing back in on this one, run it back, taking their time to talk about it. We mentioned the Glock timeout. This is their actual timeout, you know, the halftime that everyone is afforded. So do you think that after getting 14-minuted on your offense and then giving it up in 7, after you looked completely defeated on that end, do you think that the players in the back of their mind think they can win this match still? Obviously, you're never going to say that you're out of it. You're never going to, like, stop playing your hardest. But you think they feel like they're in this one to win it?
I think that if I'm Rib, my take on this is that they gave us openings before, and we were able to take advantage of them. All we need to do are look for those same openings. And is that maybe a tacit admission that if Witness Gaming don't give any openings, you're not going to beat them? Potentially, but I mean, if you play perfectly, you're probably going to win.
Classic quote there.
Yep, real UGC players will remember that one. If I was on Rib, I'd be saying, okay, we kind of sucker punch them. Clearly, there was a difference between the first half and the second half. I don't think Rib, for their end, did that much different. I think almost all of the change to me felt like it was localized within Witness Gaming, and they just played better. And I would question if Rib has the level they need to beat them at that point. So you say, okay, we're going into this. If they play, you know, strongly and we lose, we got a point. We probably secured ourselves second seed. If they give us openings, we find them, we take them, we hunt down Blake, and we beat them again.
Yeah, you kind of touched what I was alluding to with the do they think they can win? Because it really was Witness just stepping up their level to something they didn't show in that first half. And yeah, it really does feel like Witness, or Run It Back, didn't do that much different. They played a similar game. It's just, it was not nearly enough this time. So knowing that they come into this next round, do they have anything more to give? Any, you know, plays, any strategies, even any individual performances that can still come out and flip the tide of this game. And we'll have to see. They're definitely going to try their best. Ready up in from the side of Run It Back, so they're ready to get back into it. When this game may have a couple of reconnects, they are going to get their 18th back in, so hopefully we get started soon.
So you checking the stream right now?
Yeah, I'm seeing a bunch of pics of Dolphin from the photo album.
All right, Zag, am I delirious? Yes. Yeah, well, I am delirious, but when I look at what the map's on screen, the first thing my mind takes me to is mid on CP Croissant.
It kind of does look like it because the color scheme and the buildings, like being a choke point through mid.
Entirely.
At the same time, I feel like with that HUD and the minimap in the top left, this is supposed to be a CS:GO screenshot. But the only map that like I can see when I look at this in terms of Counter-Strike is like Inferno Speedway, but the color isn't quite right either.
Does CS have a mini-map in the top right?
It has a mini-map, yeah.
Does? Am I? I've got like 3,000 hours in that game. Am I stupid?
Well,
I'm
yeah,
stupid.
you never looked at your mini-map
when
you played.
True.
You probably didn't know it existed.
I mean, there's no point looking at the mini-map when you're on CS Assault.
Yeah, the only thing you're focused on is holding that vent with an auto shotgun. What mini-map, you say? The only square I want is the rectangle in front of me.
I'm just looking up a screenshot of that. I need to, like, wake myself up.
Yeah, we're in a long halftime here. We still don't have
because the mini-map's in the top left, Zag.
There's two mini-maps is the thing. There's one in the top left and the top right.
Not in these screenshots I'm looking at from Google.
No, on the Dolphin cam. That has two mini-maps on it.
Is there one?
There's something in the top right, yeah.
Yeah, I was just only looking at the one in the top right. Huh.
I also love the vaguely gaming peripheral themed logo on all the banners.
Yeah, like... And the eggs, of course. Hungy. Oh, Dolphin laid them, right. Dolphins, known egg-laying animals.
Yeah.
Definitely not mammals. I think on the gun, the AI, like, tried to put, like, a grip on the silencer.
Yeah, there's like a little wooden stock thing underneath
Which
it.
makes it look like a harpoon gun.
Kinda. At this point, we're analyzing this image because we're still waiting on halftime for both these teams. Oh, Swiftwater Dolphin.
Yo!
The water factory.
The water factory and factory with two Y's. The bomb cart, the little splash of water as he's jumping up. Oh, look at the tower! Look at the tower!
I was gonna say the tower.
Left.
It's a mix of blue and red. It says bled, but the L is like the euro sign or something, or the pound sign.
The Beld team.
Yeah, Beld team.
Zag, after all these years, we finally found it. We found the fortress.
Where's the team, though? I only see a Dolphin pushing the bomb cart. I think Dolphin saying he wiped them. That's why the cart's uncontested. Oh my god. You're gonna have a lot of fun with these images. I like that he's pushing the cart over, like, a small bridge, too. That's, like, a foot off the ground from the normal ground.
And then, yeah, it, like, melds back in with the normal one, some kind of optical illusion.
I feel like Dolphin alone in this image could push faster than
the
fuse
fuse is not attached to the bomb.
It's attached like a screw that's attached to the bomb.
The little water splash at his tail is really killing me. Oh,
another one. Is that the water factory?
I think that's a little closer, I would say, to what we're looking for.
Yeah, that is a bomb cart.
It's getting smarter.
We have to train the AI on Team Fortress 2 imagery. Not enough of that in the database.
Yeah.
Getting a update from Dolphin about the status of the halftime. Apparently Chalk burnt his hot dogs. So, apparently he has to go put out the fire.
Apparently the word is breeze, which makes me think they're like the tiny ones. Oh, are we?
Well, I guess he got
ready?
his hot dogs. Yeah.
All right. It started a small fire.
Alright, getting into the third and final round here. We've been talking real casual about this one, you know, based on the last round and the long halftime, but the reality is that we're 1-1 in the first seed match. You know, this is probably the highest stakes round of the season. And we're joking like it's nothing. So, that kind of shows you where we're at mentally with this game. Witness Gaming, overwhelming favorites based on recency bias. Obviously that only goes so far. Run It Back did win a round, so you gotta imagine that it is possible. They could get plays their way. Witness Gaming could fumble. We saw it happen before. But the question is if Run It Back can really overcome this overwhelming momentum against them.
Yeah, and I mean, Witness, though, starting on offense, too, which puts them in the spot of, you know, if they come through and come out with a fast time, pretty easy to say, oh, that's it. But, you know, should Witness come in and, you know, you get a decent defense from Rib, 8 and 9 minutes, that gives them more than enough time to, you know, kind of plan out their offense a bit and work around it, so...
Yeah, I like defense more for Run It Back, honestly, because when you just had a really rough 14-minute offense, it's really good to know what you
Chalk's
need.
hiding in the first tower, and they called him out in chat.
He's playing on that little awning back there. It's very rare you ever actually get in the action on this. He's probably gonna like walk around the corner when the cart gets above it. In the meantime, Flu Walrus dives into the canal and helps get a kill into Birdo with an exile pipe. So Witness Gaming getting out here in force, just moving that cart forward. It is getting blocked right now by what? Was it a spy standing on top of it? That's interesting, actually, from Jay-Z.
Yeah, I guess they... Oh, Mako's gonna go down. Chalk in the window
Jay-Z.
is a distraction for Jay-Z to fight too.
And Evil's dead. Yo!
Chalk's gonna get Evil.
The two-man squad on the cart just wipes everyone with the help of Poseidon from afar.
He's not sneaking, he's a distraction. He's on the minigun intentionally, because if they weren't looking at him, then Evil wouldn't get the kills.
Yeah, Jay-Z.
He's gonna get himself
2K.
the mini pack. Oh, he's getting chased around.
Well, he's going for the dive and flank.
He gets another one into their death. No,
Jay-Z has 6 kills right now. He's 8 points on the score. Jay-Z actually has 6 total kills, I think, or 5 or 6. Either way.
It's like 5, yeah.
Yeah, just dominates on first. He's still alive here. If he can just stay alive and give comms, he's done no wrong on this. And they bought time. We mentioned on Swiftwater first, if your defense can buy that extra 30 seconds to a minute with plays made by some playmakers, it just gets a lot easier to play out. You know, if a 7-minute time turns into an 8-minute, 8-minute turns into 9-minute, all of a sudden you're looking really good. And Evil not going to be successful in his infiltration, so it is pretty favorable so far in favor of Run It Back.
Yeah, I mean, that's about as good of a first one as you can reasonably expect. Uber in through upper this time, taking the scout in. It's going to get past, but Pablo dropped. Great air blast to cut him off from the med. We've seen scout Ubers from Witness Gaming do a lot of work in past seasons. First time they tried here, not going to find anything. But as always, check the Uber percents. As Blake, a little bit of an add-on Fox, you're going to have to see if he can work that into something a little bit more pushable or not.
Mori gets saved by the arrow to get back in there, but Chalk is dead. Force wins a big fight up top and gets in, helps take down Poseidon as well, but make him him up.
Gonna go down, gonna find the kill onto Mori. Jay-Z caught out. They are 4 dead on the defense right
Evil's
now.
on the NG, misses the sap, gets the sap. Yeah, gets the sap anyway. Evil gonna take that one down with the help of his team. Mako left in alone out to dry, and yeah, Run It Back just get out of dodge. Foxy does fortunately escape with their life, but yeah, Witness Gaming, the push up top, that heavy again, just makes so much space for them. They walk in off it.
Chalk a little bit distracted there.
SBS
Gonna lose that
here.
one, and the point goes down. And ooh, Evil up top, looking to maybe get something. Anyone that walks out too far.
Yeah, he's had a rough game so far, but this heavy pick will be huge. Oh, Chalk turns.
He turns. The Uber's gonna come in though. No rest of the weird. Chalk still goes down. He's caught out.
Counter out for Foxy and Co.
Using back in right there. Good air blast.
Yeah,
by
no
Melon
hit scan to shoot this pyro.
And Burrow's gonna go down. Blank coming in, finds 2. GG's gonna be next, and Witness Gaming are locked in right now.
Yeah, I mean, the hardest point for them so far has been first. They've just steamrolled through second and third, even with a full side opposing them. So Witness Gaming now standing atop this 4th ramp, looking to spawn camp as when the back try to get out here. They're gonna have to go up through the side. Through staircase, but Blake spawn camps onto Foxy. That one is huge, buying Blake a full Uber advantage, moving into 4th here. They have to sack to try to get in.
Spawn camp on GG. Oh no!
Sack onto Blake. It is Jay-Z going for revolver shots, but can't get the kill. They need to find anything here. It's a snowball coming through. Evil onto the Poseidon will force Poseidon to drop off high ground. And there's nothing here for run it back. Chalk, they have Chalk alone here with a minigun. He needs to get some kills, some damage, but...
Jay's is not in position to get a 6K this time, buddy.
Yeah, he's just dead.
Evil pinned to the wall.
Yeah, try to get the spawn camp
for Foxy.
Didn't hit the shots. In the meantime, 4th captured up instantly. 4 minutes, 4 points. This is the steamroll that you kind of expect with this game to be able to pull off. Even if first goes a little awry, they're going to be able to just keep the momentum going. And Blake 100% Uber to Fox.
This
60.
is only 20 seconds faster than what they did in the first half. That they lost. So...
yeah, but they didn't hold a 14-minute time. As now Witness Gaming, they get the SVS win from Lenny, so there's nothing really opposing their walk-in here. They had an Uber ad, they haven't popped it yet. They are going to pop out now. Foxy up on 95, will likely get in time here. Mori going to get an Uber onto the rest of these card players. Chalk can't get flash though. No heavy available in this post. Could be big in the end. XL going to go down on the back out here, but Witness Gaming kind of get what they want. Cart moves up in between that final danger zone. Going to be able to edge it a bit further. Lenny, another SVS win.
And that's really big.
Yep, Melon onto this cart, air blasts Mori all the way back. This Pyro going to do so much work over the top. Melon will get focused down in the end, but that cart is at the very edge now.
It's that Echo is going to go down. GG putting the gun closer, and it
Chalk
will
is back
find the Devilman. Evil!
Guys, cart. Oh my god.
Oh, it's tilted in!
We saw this in the first round, though. Whenever the cart is this close, you have to just stand at 24/7. It's only a matter of time before the defense makes some kind of a blunder or misallocation of players. Chalk needs to stay alive. He's taking so much damage. Arrow the man. He's tried his best, but he's dead.
Yep, one too many headshots will take him down. They're spamming so hard to try to find Evil. They're going to catch him, but he gets the reset. Yep, that's going to be
Melon. It's
going
over.
down. Melon escort that in.
Sub 6. Oh, it's rough for running back here. You were so hopeful after that first went so well for them. But if Jay-Z is not killing 5 players, apparently they're just getting bowled over.
Yeah, second really wasn't the high point there.
Alright, well, for Witness Gaming, now on the defense, holding 6 minutes is only a formality, it feels like.
You would hope, yeah. I mean, if I'm... you got to pull out all the cheese you got in the shed. You know, really come in. I don't know if it's crits. I don't know if it's cow mangler. You know, whatever you got that can get a med drop on first and give you that snowball, you got to pull it out here. I mean, you know, Blake quite likely to play out of the tunnel here. There's an opportunity there to get a med drop, snowball that through second, get yourself some momentum to get in time. Dolphin's got Chalk burning his weenies. Up on stream. Thank you, Dolphin. Glad we can see that.
Well, apparently him burning those weenies was not good for the overall morale of the team, because I'd say that probably did worse for their mental than, you know, dropping 14 minutes on their offense. So, tallest order of the season, honestly. 6 minutes against Witness on Swiftwater. They're going to try their best, but for Witness, this, you got to imagine it's over. And they're going to be doing their normal forward hold. Sentry going to get healed up. They will get Flores and Pablo, so likely going to be no obstacle to taking first here, but the real match hasn't even started yet.
Yeah, Blake was swooped back into tunnel, so no Uber drops there. Poseidon going to pan Evil down. They've got a ton of kills here. They're getting forward.
Oh, look at the pipe, though. Big denial on Tomeko means that he can't chase any further. And that will be Medic safely out into upper.
That, I mean, not best case, but definitely pretty good that you're not going to give up any time you don't need to on first.
Yeah, it's as good as it can be without having an overwhelmingly insane play like a Medic drop. So, run it back, going to post up here for their first real push of the round. They're immediately going to Uber. They know they have no time to waste. Getting out there, taking down the gun immediately. Where is Blake? And they're going to get up top. Blake is popping. Uber is running in the meantime.
Chalk, Scott, Lenny, Hyphen's dead as well. Mori's going to go down. He jumped in deep, and Jay-Z got popped up there. Bit of a weird model it looked like. But, I mean, that is the sniper and the NG down, so it's going to stall the gun. Kinda hard to imagine that they can get something here without seeing the heavy and soldier up top really leading that push.
Yeah, time down to 4.5 minutes already. They gotta go 1 point per minute at this rate. Third could be a snowball point, but they have to actually get through second first. And Jay-Z gonna be trying to go through upper, but Sticky's on that shutter. Will actually get through unseen. Gets barely through. The Sticky's dead on him. In the meantime, most of the team is out through tunnel, but they are dying just as fast. Mori, Poseidon, Foxy, Chalkleaf all go down. That is just a meat grinder they walk into, and they're desperate, so they do it.
Yeah, Jay-Z might have had maybe a stab onto Flu there, but the rest of the team gonna go down. Does not
that's
matter.
the white flag if I've ever seen it.
It is probably still theoretically possible, but very difficult.
Yeah, I'd give all my money that Witness Gaming just close one out easy. Run it back. They've not had a foot in this game ever since that first round where they had the uncontested cap versus 8. Ever since then, it feels like they've had nothing but happen.
I mean, it's kind of a meme, but it really was a Witness. All right, we gotta lock in. Don't let this shit happen anymore. Don't let our men get dropped multiple times, or let them cap points when we're 8 alive.
Yeah, they do get a couple here. These are essentially consolation. Again, still technically possible into the realm of time, but Uber now out for Witness here. They got Exile, they got Melon onto this card, getting some kills, getting some damage, and they're going to maintain control. Melon going to hold WM1 onto GG, take him down. As the rest of the team trying to go out here. 1v1 in the apartments, one out by Birdo. Fualrus is dead. And with Shock and Mako running in, this should be the second capture. Unless Lenny has anything to say about it.
Surely. Oh, counter espionage.
Unless Lenny has anything to say about it.
Lenny, yep. Unless Lenny has something. Unless Lenny.
He's looking for more.
Gonna go. Come on. No, Uber popped out.
Yeah.
That will be. That's gonna be Pablo going down. Exile not long for this world either. Uber on Birdo, so he can't cap. But they should get this 2.5 minutes for 3 more points.
Witness Gaming could run onto the cart with their melees out for 2.5 minutes.
My magic 8 ball says does not look good. Especially with Blue Walrus coming in to just dive bomb cart and delay it even further.
They're sacking players onto Poseidon here. Poseidon's alive with 1 HP. Exile tries to get some damage done, kills Leaf, but how the fuck do they really get out here? They're gonna get Uber soon onto Witness.
Foxy got stabbed too. Evil found that around the corner in Red Room. Or IT, excuse me. So.
Get Shock. Alone in the apartments. Will get taken down. Sack onto the cart from Evil. Dead. That's the players come out to
we are pretty solidly in post-mortem right now.
Yeah.
This game going to eventually go in favor 2-1 for Witness Gaming. That said, I think we've proven that Rib is capable of matching Witness. Maybe not at their best, but, on match day. And Rib are very likely going to be your second seeds going into playoffs, which I don't think a lot of people would have bet on coming into the season with how good Squirty apparently had seen in preseason scrims. So, very happy for them because, we saw them. They've been kind of hanging around for a bit. They've been improving. They hit 3rd seed last time. Now they're moving up to 2nd. It's only probably gonna. Does this mean they're gonna be 1st next season? Unlikely, but good to see teams like this, gradually stick together, improve, get better. A lot of similar names on here, so bodes well for Rib.
Yeah, it really is just the promise of a top 3, hopefully top 2 seed for running back. That is the silver lining of tonight because. Yes, at Witness Gaming's partial strength, run it back can match up, but the second that Witness Gaming are locked in, you gotta imagine they feel like a whole nother beast here if you are run it back. And you gotta imagine coming into playoffs, if you do get that 1-2 matchup in the upper bracket finals, what do you even do here? You don't want to play them on Swiftwater again? Do you even want to play them at Payload at all? Do you run it on Koth and just hope you can out DM?
Yeah, it's blank drop in the CU in Grands. Interesting. Yeah, it's interesting because Witness this was their worst map in last season, and Poseidon somehow got traced back to 1st.
Yeah, that one.
Stop paying attention there, but
yeah, that one ends unceremoniously with the Witness Gaming 2-1.
But yeah, it's definitely a question because you say, okay, well, if both of these teams are bad at it, do we improve on it? Because you know, you'd think there's probably more room to improve on it, right? I'd say it depends on how, you know, the rest of the maps go. But, I mean, at least on payload, Witness seems to be, you know, mortal. At least, you know, maybe that's before they're like... It's hard to tell, right? Because it really was such, like, two different teams that we saw from Witness Gaming in the first half and then the second and third.
Yeah, it really was a completely different showing, and if Witness brings this game to the playoffs, it's hard to imagine anyone can stop them. Obviously, we haven't seen the likes of Froggyland play yet on cast. We haven't seen if any other team can like raise their ceiling, but it's looking unlikely, or at least we'd have to see something to convince us of that. For now, Witness Gaming, very clearly front runners of the season.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, we have the logs up on screen. Lenny, 21-7. Just ridiculous. No deaths for Blake either. And yeah. Exile putting up 13-4, so really rebounding from that first half in all of their cases. But, I mean, I don't think we can... There's too much analysis to do here that we haven't given at this point.
Yeah.
So we'll keep the post-game short. It's been pretty long for our regulars. I mean, we've done 3 halves, and we're still less than an hour and a half after 9:30 EST, which is pretty good, but...
Yeah, Witness Gaming both taking and giving away with the 14-minute time on defense, keeping us here, but a 6-minute offense to get us out faster. So it evens out a bit for a three-half game.
Yep. So I think we'll probably wrap it up there, Zach, unless you got any other closing remarks.
No, we've said our piece on these teams as we were essentially reading right back's obituary on Swiftwater.
Yeah. So that will do it from us tonight. We'll be back next week with... I think we're looking at Froggyland versus Squirtye next week. So another chapter in the Squirtye saga. Froggy, I think first time we'll see them this season. So look forward to that, as that will likely be the determinant between some of the 4th, 5th seed teams. But is Dolphin, we got any 6s this week? All right, TBD at the moment, but Dolphins expecting Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So, number of potential games to see. So, stay tuned. All the, usual places for announcements. But otherwise, we'll call it here. So, from Zag, for Dolphin, everyone at RGL, thank you for watching. Have a good night.